Hey everyone, it's the Shawn. Welcome to another edition of the Influencer of Tomorrow show. Today we have Jesse Cole joining us, the man in the yellow tux, and we'll be talking some more about that and what he's doing with that here and then in the near future as we dig into the show. Our goal is for you, the listener or viewer, to help you think about building your influence for tomorrow. And we're talking to thought leaders throughout the country and throughout the world about what they're doing to build their influence for tomorrow, what the lessons are, what they're doing now, what they're looking to in the future. I'm joined by my regular co-host, George Hendley. He's my longtime speaking coach, friend of mine. And he knows all the classics of speaking. He's been all through the materials. He's read all the books. He understands what you do to have impact. Myself, I'm a corporate lawyer by training, help people with ownership and control of their business. That's ownership, partnership agreements, capital raises, mergers, contracts, and negotiations. But I'm always looking to the future of business, which is where this show fits in, because we're looking for how tomorrow comes together, what you can do now to build a better tomorrow. So that's the goal of the show. It's for you, the viewer. We'd love to get your comments and ideas, whatever you're dealing with, maybe specific issues you're having, or specific things that resonate to you from today's show. So if you're watching on one of our LinkedIn feeds, if you're seeing it on Facebook, if you're seeing it on the Influencer of Our Tomorrow YouTube channel, just drop your comments. We will be looking there and interfacing with you based on your comments. Quick reminder, we do not do any investment advice or legal advice on the show. Everything here is just for your education. Talk to your own advisors for those specific issues. With that, welcome to the show, Jesse. Thanks for joining us today.
Pumped to be with you guys today.
Yes, so, I guess I heard of you through a channel because I wear unusual suits. I have to do business differently. And I was talking to somebody and they're like, oh, there's this guy that wears yellow tuxedos and he's in Savannah. And that's about all I knew. So I went on Google and I'm like, who's the guy with a yellow tuxedo in Savannah? And that's how I found out about you. And you've really taken a message similar to the one I have, which is being yourself, being unique and different. And then you tie a lot of cultural elements around that. Why don't you talk a little bit about, what you're building for tomorrow, what you see for your employees, and how you kind of mix all these elements you've pulled together in your experience?
Of course, we'll give a little context. I started in an old game of baseball right out of college, took over one of the worst performing teams in the country with only $268 in the bank account, and realized we had to change the game and create some excitement or we're going to be out of business. So I realized then, what business are you in, but what business are you really in? Mm-hmm. And we were not in the baseball business. We had to be in the entertainment business, the people business, the fan business. And right. So that's when we changed everything. And that really became my platform. We started doing crazy things, a lot that failed. I failed a lot over the 12 years. Flatulence Fun Night, Salute to Underwear Night, the world's largest tickets, grandma beauty pageants. I mean, you can name it all that we tried. And a lot, didn't work out well, but we learned what we were doing. And, a big thing is do and then learn. And we're constantly trying to do things and then learn from them. And so fortunately, we bought that team in Gastonia, recently sold it, and now came here to Savannah, where professional baseball was here for 90 years and failed. And we thought we could come in here and succeed, and we didn't. At first, we were sleeping on an airbed, had to empty out our savings account. We ran out of money. But then we learned how to create attention and go all in on the fans first experience. So that is the Spark Notes version. And now what I've used is that as a platform to share with everybody what makes you different, what makes you stand out, and how are you doing that every day? Because once you do that, it's amazing how much progress you can see and momentum in your life. And that's what I'm seeing now with the book and speaking and everything along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we mention your book for a second? It's Find Your Yellow Tux, right? That's the title. And it's just a fantastic book about, not necessarily where can you buy a yellow tuxedo, but where can you find your uniqueness at?
100%. Well, it's crazy. I mean, everybody has something that makes them stand out. But either we're worried too much about what people think, we have fear, we want to be like everyone else, we want to fit in, and that's holding us back, not only from success in business and in life, but it's holding everything back. And I've realized I finally got over that fear. I still struggle. When I go through the airport and everyone's looking at me like, who is this guy? It's a challenge, but eventually it's like, hey, if they have a problem, it's their problem. This is me. This is all me, and have fun with it. And as you who wear these crazy tuxedos as well, you understand, but it's just having fun. And I think we need more fun out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing George and I talked about with one of our earlier guests. We were talking to Anessa Santos about, just getting out of this, trying to be the same, trying to copy everything. And, it's almost like when people copy a tape over and over and over again, right? It keeps losing quality. And that's what we see people doing. One person does it, and everybody else feels like they have to do it. And it loses something in the mixture.
Yeah, they're not being their true self either. I mean, what they're doing is they're trying to be someone else. And that causes a lot of challenges. And it makes it, it takes away energy. I always say like every day, create your energy list. Are you doing things that are giving you energy? And if you're trying to be like someone else or trying to fit in, that takes away a ton of energy and it wears you out. And so I've learned never going to do that. And believe me, no one should ever wear a yellow tuxedo. All right? I don't even know if the company exists anymore that I bought them from. But they should find them, and whatever it is, and just go all out and amplify themselves. And that's what I've seen from groups that I've worked with.
Jump in, George.
I have to jump in because in a very recent interview, the lady said, and this little phrase she said is so great, dabble to discover. Mm-hmm. And you just dabble in this and dabble in that. You try a lot of different things. I have kind of the mindset that it's all about, experimentation. And one of the greatest guys who ever really brought experimentation to a monetary growth thing was this guy by the name of Thomas Edison. He experimented and tried thousands of things to finally hit a major grand slam with the light bulb. But that's just one of thousands of inventions he came up with because he was ready and willing to dabble to discover what worked. I love what you're doing, Jesse.
Thanks, George. I think the key is to look at all failures as discovery.
There you go.
Everyone's like, what did I fail? Oh, no, what did you discover today? And so we've changed that. And I'll tell you, I haven't shared much of this recently, but we started doing numerous events at the ballpark, not just our games, because all of our games, we were fortunate, sold out. And we started failing like miserably at these events because it's not what we're the best at. But now we discovered all this. And I think you say yes to everything until it's time to start saying no and focusing. But you don't know that until you get there. And so that's why the whole do and learn or dabble and discover, I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, I think that's a big piece of tomorrow, right? Is, we're moving to a world with AI and machine learning, and these are themes that I pick up a lot on my other show, where anything that's routine, anything that's similar is going to become computerized or mechanized, right? That's just kind of where we're going. But where humans really have a great place in the future is those connections, those uniquenesses, those understandings, seeing how pieces come together. And what, to your point, Jesse, I think the way you really get that is by jumping out there and trying stuff, right?
Well, yeah, and it goes into a deeper conversation about when you show up as your whole self and who you are and amplify it. And then you create an organization that does the same and everyone shows up their whole self. It's amazing the joy, happiness, purpose, and success that you have in business and in life. And I try to show up like this every day because, our ultimate mission, who we are, our company is called Fans First Entertainment. And our mission's Fans First, Entertain Always. But our biggest fans are our people. And we will do everything for our people and our employees, and we will do everything. And if the only way we can do that is if the people at the top show up every day, all in, and are vulnerable, share their challenges. I've shared with my group some of the biggest challenges I had as a kid and things that no one else knew. And when they see you doing that, they are able to open up as well. And I think very few companies, the top are afraid and scared to reveal, hey, I'm not good at a lot of things. I struggle at this, but this is what I'm really good at. And this is what I believe in. How many leaders share their beliefs over and over and over again? How can you expect your people to follow you and be all in on themselves if they don't even know what you believe in? So that's the whole picture of what we're trying to do. You're right. We're in the people business. And no machines, no AI can take away the way that we connect with people, the way that we create moments, the way that we make people matter, and the way that we drive meaning. And I say this all the time, moments matter meaning. Create moments that show people that they matter, and that'll bring a deeper meaning. And it goes around in a circle. And that's kind of what we're trying to build. And you talk about influencer tomorrow. If you're not thinking about that, and you're not focusing on that, you're behind the game right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because tomorrow is a changing field, right? I mean, the world is changing, and you've got to be moving ahead. So what are you doing, Jesse, to start thinking about tomorrow? I mean, you've obviously made great strides in the last several years. You've got a strong brand now. You've got the book out. What are you thinking about for tomorrow to continue your influence and to grow your influence?
As soon as you're on top of the game, as soon as it gets easier, that's when you need to work harder. I look at so many companies that are on top of the game, the Blockbusters, the Sears, the Toys R Us, you name it. They're all in the business cemetery because they thought that's where they were. They didn't need to change. Yeah. Here's where we are. We have been fortunate. As I shared in the beginning, we struggled, but we've sold out every game. We have a wait list for tickets in the thousands. It's unprecedented. We're very fortunate, our fan base. It's unprecedented at this level or any baseball level. So many people would say, all right, we're good. But no, we're about to pull a Netflix. And this is a scary thing. When I say pull a Netflix, we're about when Netflix dominated the DVD business, when they were sending them out to everyone, they said, nope, we're going to split the company in half and we're going to focus all on streaming. And they were so far ahead of their time that their stock plummeted.
I remember. Yep.
We're about to do that. And what I mean by that is while we're drawing the fans, there's something that we notice every night at our ballpark. Fans leave early. And you can't get tickets. There's scalpers outside the games. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make sense for our level. Yet people are still leaving the games. And we have a pep band and Banana Nana cheerleaders and people getting pied and dancing players, you name it, the entertainment, but they're still leaving early. So what does that tell us? That tells us that there's a problem with baseball. And I've compared it before. We're like a hot dog stand in the sense that we're great at the condiments. The mustard, the relish, the ketchup, which is the show. We're excellent at that. But the hot dog, which is baseball, still needs work. And now we are going after the hot dog. And so what we're about to announce in the next 12, 16 months now, that we are going to dramatically change the game of baseball. And it is scary. It is crazy. But we know we need to do it. Right now, baseball's over 3 hours. We're going to see how we can make it an hour and a half. And the reason why we're doing this, that probably the whole context for anyone, is the world's getting faster, people need things quicker, yet baseball's getting slower. If you're in an industry that you're not giving things to people faster or more convenient or on their time, you're in trouble. And so we are going to start making this game so fast, so quick, and give it on demand that's where we're going. And it is scary, and we may be on an airbed again, but it's the right move.
It's interesting. You'll have to come back and tell us about that as you roll that out. George is laughing. He's enjoying this.
What I see is you are spot on, Jesse. The reason I've never loved the game of baseball, even though I played it as a kid, was slow. And people today, you said it, they want it fast, fast, fast. They want it yesterday. And if you can't make them feel that they are either in the game itself, I mean, standing at bat, watching those fastballs zip by their head, after a while, it's just called, what else can we do? And they're just feeling they're not deeply engaged in the game. And so you hit it on the head. This is going to be an exciting adventure. And like Shawn, I want to see where you take this.
Thank you. Well, here's the challenge. If you're a business and you're playing not to lose, or you're playing defense, or you're playing to protect, you're in trouble. And that's why I'm so fortunate. We're not a multi-billion-dollar brand like Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball is over $10 billion. So they're playing not to lose. They want to protect what they have. We're playing not to lose. And I bet you if Blockbuster, Toys R Us, and Sears played not to lose, they'd be dominating the game right now. So it is scary. We're a multi-million-dollar business, but it's a move we have to do. And I question every single business, what are they doing today to reinvent for tomorrow? Every single day. Because if you're not reinventing, you're dying. It's not just if you're growing, you're dying. What are you doing to reinvent? And I love Netflix because not only did they reinvent with the big split of the company, then they reinvented and said, you know what? We're going to invest all of our money in creating our own content. And now I bet you in a few years, they're going to reinvent and do something else. That's great leadership. And that's how companies endure for many years. And there's very few that do that.
Exactly. And that's what we're seeing from the top companies also. And I think you kind of touched on this point earlier, is you've got to understand what your product is, right? I mean, you could have said we're in the minor league baseball game, right? I mean, we provide minor league baseball people. You provide entertainment, which means that redefines who your competitors are, right? Your competitor is not another minor league baseball team. Your competitor is Netflix and the ice cream stand and the park, and you've got to have a better product for a family to come spend an evening at.
And I'll challenge you, Shawn. It's not just knowing what your product is. It's loving your customers more than you love your product. Because Here's what's happening. People can love their product so much and they get romantic about it, so they won't change it. I and our team are just watching our fans. And if our fans are leaving at 9 o'clock every night and they're leaving early, even though we're putting on a huge show, we love them enough to dramatically change our product because we're following their journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Netflix did when they followed and said, you know what, it's going to go to streaming. People are going to want more convenience. And even right now, we ask all our fans, I would say 99% of them say, no, you don't need to change. We love the games.
Yeah.
Same thing with Henry Ford. He said, if I asked our customers what they want, they would have said faster horses.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes your customers and your fans don't know exactly what's best. And you have to make a move by just watching and observing. I think Yogi Berra said it best. You can observe a lot just by watching. And we sit there watching.
Yeah.
What are you, it's not just your product, but what are they doing? What are they buying? How are they responding? And you're going to make some bold moves. So I'm so excited because we say our company is fans first. How many times does someone ask you, what do you do? And you say, I'm a realtor, or, I sell this, I sell that. We say we're fans first. Our company is all about the fans. We happen to have a baseball game and entertainment in the show. You lead with your fans and you make your decisions by them. They're your boss.
Yeah, that was write your check, right?
100%.
Johnny Carson said it well, Jesse. People will pay more for entertainment than they will for education. And if you figure out the way to entertain not just mom and dad, but the kids, then you've got a captive audience.
100%. And I think if you can combine entertainment and education, you win. And that's why we're starting to teach more and share and go out. But, it's something that people don't talk about. Everyone looks at the problems that you're trying to solve, but no one will really say, hey, there's a problem with lack of fun out in the community. But I would say people have this desire to have more fun. This world has got so professional and the way you're supposed to act. There's this deep need to laugh. And, the other day I'm in the office, I'm singing the worst song ever. I can't sing, guys, at all. But I'm in front of the staff and singing and put it out on social media because as leaders, we need to give our employees permission to have fun. And we got to have it. And if that's who we are, and right on our website, we make baseball fun, that's kind of a fundamental thing we're doing. And I would challenge every business, lawyers, accountants, speakers. How are you making people laugh? How are you making them have fun? Because everyone needs to laugh. So that's a whole other tangent, but I don't think it's talked about enough.
I agree.
I think it's, it's an important piece of that connection, that authenticity, right? As people connect with people they have fun with, people they laugh at, people that they feel are real, and I've told people this. I mean, a piece of my history is I, at one point, was at the big law firms. And when I first started my law firm, all the advice was, you got to button it up. You got to wear the standard corporate suit. You've got to go out there and look a certain way. And I would get on stage and speak, and I'd walk off stage, and people would be like, well, you're not like every other lawyer. You're not like every other lawyer. You're not like every other lawyer. But I was acting in a lot of ways like every other lawyer. So I had to break it.
Well, it's interesting. The law firm, boy, that's so ready to be disrupted too. I mean, the whole business. I mean, who would like to say, all right, I've been talking to you for 6 minutes. I'm being charged for every minute. Like, that's a broken system. That's not what customers want.
Right.
And it's like, again, I think one of the best ways to start, we're talking about influencer for tomorrow. What are those friction points? If you're in the customer's shoes, what do you hate? That's what we realized about baseball. It was too long and too slow and too boring. I don't think people put themselves in the customer's shoes. And Shawn and George, I don't know if I shared with you, we actually did this. Last year, we did Undercover Fan, where everyone on our staff went undercover for an entire game. We drove up, we parked where the fans parked, we stood in line, we sat where the fans sat, we had difficulty finding seats like fans did, and we took 30 pages. I mean, by the end of the summer, we had 30 pages of notes and videos, recordings of, hey, this is how it's really like to be a customer and a fan. And I would challenge how many businesses have actually sat in their customers' shoes and gone through the experience. That was game changing for us.
Undercover boss.
Yes, but do it the opposite.
Yeah. But you didn't send the boss out. You sent your people out. They learn the lessons and bring it back to you.
100%. And they take ownership in it. I think that's the big key. If you want to have real great implementation in your business, you got to have your people take ownership in it. And so they did, and they were like, you know what? I hate it. I stood in line for 12 minutes. The burger wasn't as cooked as I'd like it to. All right, we're delivering it to the fans. What are you going to do to make it better?
Yeah, and that's one of the real challenges in business, because a lot of your customers will not speak up. They'll either leave or they'll tolerate it for a while until a better option comes. They're very rare does a customer actually speak up and say, hey, the line was too long or the burger was too cold.
And the answer is not always surveys. And here's the thing, it's like, how many of us go into your customer's shoes? Oh, I can't wait to do a survey for that company. You know, no one wants that. So you have to almost get in there and find ways where, hey, this would be exciting. And don't say, oh, we'll give them a free thing if they do a survey. Now you're rewarding them to do a survey. That's gonna be a real honest survey. Like, you know, you gotta think about getting in their shoes and actually experience it. I am so many people talk about you have to make your decisions based on what your customers say. I believe more in watching what your customers do and watching how they buy and watching how they respond, and then making your decisions based on that.
I love it. I love it. So, Jesse, you know, talking to you is like a ongoing study of business management. I enjoy your LinkedIn clips immensely. Why don't you tell folks where they can find your work? I know you've got the baseball team sold out, but you got some new events coming, and you also do some speaking. So why don't you tell folks where they can track you down and see more of your work?
I don't think there's any other yellow tux guy out there. So I think that branding's worked a little bit. But about a year and a half ago, I committed to posting one thing a day. I had no idea. And I'll tell you, it goes back to fear. I wrote 160 blogs before I posted one of them. And then I just started doing videos. And I'm sharing the journey because everyone says, how do you get from this place to this place? I'm sharing every day. And even on Sundays, I do a real talk and I go in the challenges and the adversity and really what we're going through. We just had our first turnover in 3 years, the past 2 months. I shared everything about that and how that hit us and what we're going to do about it. And so, yes, I mean, LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm posting every day. And I advise everyone else to do that. Just share what you're going through, because once you share, it gives other people permission to share. And that's how you have deep connection. And that's how you grow together. So I'm putting it out there, and hopefully it's making an impact.
I love that philosophy. That is fantastic. Thank you for sharing with our audience. I always like to pause at the end of the show and ask the audience to pat themselves on the back for doing the hard work, investing in themselves. This was a fun show, obviously, but there's some very meaningful stuff there. If you go back and look through it, a lot of great nuggets. I've certainly going to go back and update my notes. I want to remind the audience, you can see the past episodes, you can see upcoming guests, you can check out that. You can also get on our email list for inside tips and ideas that we don't put out there everywhere. All of that's at influenceroftomorrow.com. And you can, of course, subscribe to and see other videos on the Influencer of Tomorrow YouTube channel. And Jesse, I just want to say thank you for making the time for us.
No, thank you guys. I say it's so important for people to get out there and share the lessons that they're doing. So thank you guys for making an impact.
It's a lot of fun. All right. Thank you.
Have a good one, Jess.